Toyhouse. It's a site on the internet you might be aware of if you're in the art community. On the site, you can find all sorts of things: characters, stories, forums, art. Ever since its inception in 2014, the site has become home to many characters and designs that you either love or don't love. But with a site that's been around since 2014, there's bound to be some history behind it. So join us as we take a look at the weird side of this site's history as we plunge to the abyss of the Toyhouse Iceberg.
The skies. Original characters. Original characters are usually original fictional concepts created by someone. Basically how SpongeBob is Steven Hilberg's OC. OCs usually aren't affiliated with companies, but individuals having creative outlets. They could be people, creatures, or some sort of representation drawn in artworks and in writing. Art commissions. Commissioning an artist is basically where you pay an artist to create something for you. This could be anything from a piece of artwork, to writing, to animations, or even music. In terms of Toyhouse, most commissions are in the form of digital artwork and or character designs. Art/character feed. When logging into Toyhouse, you are usually greeted with characters from your feed. This can consist of characters that recently gained favorites from people you subscribe to, random characters that get a shoutout from Toyhouse, or recently uploaded characters to the site. You can also get notifications of recently uploaded art from people you are subscribed to on the site. OC theft. Original character theft is pretty much what it sounds like. It's where someone claims to own an OC that doesn't belong to them. While frustrating on its own, it could become a massive issue if the person stealing an OC tries to sell off the character they don't own to someone else. Because of how OC-centric Toyhouse is by its very nature, this is something that the community and the admin takes pretty seriously. Art Fight. Art Fight is a month-long event held in July where artists are split into two themed teams and create artwork for characters on the opposite team for points. These points are based on various things such as the effort put into a piece or the amount of characters included, and are tallied up at the end of the month to see which team gets the most amount of points and wins. The game is incredibly popular with Toyhouse users, so much so that there's a later entry that goes over the thread spamming that happens around the time of Art Fight each year. Color picking. Color picking is when a character has a set color palette. If someone goes ahead and takes those colors from the character to use on their own character, usually with the eyedropper tool found in most photo editing softwares. Some people can be extremely annoyed by people doing this, even going as far as to claim the colors of a character and that nobody else is allowed to use them. This is a fairly unpopular opinion on Toyhouse nowadays since nobody owns colors at all. However, you will occasionally see people mention not to color pick their characters in their do not interact list at all, which is a topic you'll see later on this iceberg. Character/design adopts. Adopts are originally made designs that are usually sold or traded for currency, art, characters, or whatever the person desires in return. The person who originally created the adopt is listed as the creator for credits on Toyhouse. It typically has to transfer the design over to the person that ends up owning the design. Adopts can be resold, retraded, or gifted on Toyhouse. Migration from DeviantArt. Due to DeviantArt being bought by Wix and the release of DeviantArt Eclipse disappointing a lot of users, as for a lot of artists and creatives, DeviantArt initially was the place for selling and trading adoptable designs, HTML and CSS coded profiles, posting journal updates, and the like. Toyhouse felt promising in its aspects as was intended for all of these compared to DeviantArt Eclipse, which caused a lot of users from DeviantArt to move to Toyhouse instead. Terms of service. Terms of service are usually agreements between a provider and a person intending to get service. The person must agree to these terms in order to get or use that offered service. Toyhouse users often request that you read their TOS before commissioning or even interacting so there are no mishaps.
The tip. Literature. Literature in Toyhouse can be added to any character you own. Literature usually consists of fictional/creative writing and /or lore surrounding the character. Literature works like images as to where multiple can be added and may also be privatized by selecting the Only Me viewership during or after publishing. Profile warning/DNIs. As you may or may not know, some if not most profiles on Toyhouse have small pop-ups when clicked. These pop-ups contain warnings about what you may see on their profile, giving you a heads up before you continue. Some profile warnings also contain a DNI list, also known as Do Not Interact. DNIs are usually directed at those who are seen as or validated to be problematic. More often than not, there's a listed reason with the DNI blurb as to why a specific person is put into the DNI section. Art Fight thread spam. Self-explanatory. Whenever Art Fight comes around in July, people tend to make threads asking for hit lists or characters to draw for the event. A slight issue that people have, however, is the sheer amount of threads that tend to result from this, particularly in the general forums. This has caused some people to ask to post in a mega thread instead of making so many individual threads in multiple forum sections. Invite trading. If you tried to sign up for Toyhouse or already have an account, you will have noticed that you need a code to join. These codes can also be known as invitations. Codes, or invites, can be obtained each week that you have Toyhouse Premium, which we will discuss later. Invite trading is when one party has a code and another party seeking a code offers anything from art, characters, or even money to obtain said code. Worlds. Toyhouse Worlds are essentially mini hubs on Toyhouse. Worlds have the ability to host characters and have bulletins like a user account, but also have the ability to have their own forums that are specific to that specific world. Worlds on Toyhouse are an extremely versatile feature on site used for all sorts of things, such as being hubs for original species owners, role-playing communities, hosting art RPGs, and even helping advertise people's commissions or adopts. HTML and CSS. On Toyhouse, you can customize your profile using HTML and CSS, two popular website coding languages. HTML is used to add text, images, and other content to your profile or website, while CSS is used to design said website or profile. Basically makes it so you don't have to use a Google Doc for a website or profile. Both languages are incredibly easy to learn, having thousands of free lessons online. A slight caveat, however, is that unless you have Toyhouse Premium, you are limited to using inline CSS or CSS within HTML tags. Site navigation complaints. The biggest turnoff for most people who are introduced to Toyhouse is navigating the site. While there are Toyhouse tutorials and an active community of people who use the site as intended or to do business, there are so many people also that I even know personally that end up not using the site due to its complexity. Character links. Character links are a feature on Toyhouse that allow you to connect two characters to one another, to show a relationship two characters have with one another without having to write it out and link the other character directly in a character's profile. This feature also allows you to write small blurbs about how/why each character is linked to one another, which is normally either written in third person or occasionally from a first person point of view from each character. Since you can write anything in the blurb section though, this can lead to, let's just say, very interesting results from some people. Search engine. The search engine on Toyhouse allows you to look for characters, advertisements, HTML/CSS codes, and resources. You can also search by designers offsite and onsite, by current owner, tags, keywords, and if you have premium, you can sort by trading options and by date, favorites, images, and literatures. Blocking. Like all social media platforms, Toyhouse has a blocking function, which prohibits any blocked user from viewing/interacting with your account. You can choose to either block a user's account, or if you're feeling really aggravated, you can block their IP too. Blocking either their account or IP will completely restrict them from even interacting with your account. Blocking someone will not send a notification to whoever was blocked, so if you want to surprise attack your friends, give it a try? Sick of seeing someone's thread or simply just don't like that one specific character they have? Block them to kingdom come. Who's gonna stop you? Toyhouse Premium. Shameless plug for Toyhouse Premium here. As a paid subscription service on Toyhouse, you get several benefits, including 2 invite codes per week you retain a subscription, the ability to mass manage nearly anything on your account, special search options in the forums, and the ability to search specific characters instead of having to go through the pesky task of trying to remember that one designer's name to get that one character you really like and forgot to favorite. And for all the little coding freaks out there, you get to use external CSS as well as gaining the mythical powers of making the sidebar pretty. The forums. There are many sections in the Toyhouse forums, and we're gonna have to say them all. There's character discussion, species discussion, worlds, art marketplace, design marketplace, adoption center, service reviews, creators corner, HTML/CSS and graphics, art freebies, art trades, art games, character games and freebies, forum games, favorite exchange, announcements, general and off topic, help and questions and suggestions, and bugs. I did all of that in one take. Gave myself a glass of water, y'all. There's a lot of users who do a lot of business, self-promote, and have discussions in the forum. Try it out. Maybe you might find something you might be interested in. Who knows?
The Shallows. The person below you gets blank threads. The person below you gets blank are forum game threads where people post in the thread, claim the person below, or sometimes above them and give them something. These gifts can range from doodles to sketch pages to even full-on characters if the thread rules allow it. Threads like these normally have some ground rules in place to make sure things don't get too crazy, like cooldown periods for when someone can claim something again, or a minimum requirement of what to give to someone. Variations of these threads can include ones where a user will create a character design for someone above or below them, or drawing an OC that the user above or below the post has. Service reviews. Service reviews are a subform of Toyhouse dedicated to users sharing their positive and negative experiences of commissioning or trading experiences they had with other artists. It's also the primary place on site for users to share PSAs or buyer awares, threads made to warn other users to not commission a user. While some threads on here are genuinely informative on whether you should or shouldn't commission an artist, others can get into the territory of hearsay rather than informing the user base. I don't want to go into too much detail into this, especially since a good bit of threads in service reviews normally touch on heavier and more serious allegations towards others. Just note to be critical if you choose to read through the threads there. Last post wins. The last post wins threads are pretty self-explanatory. It's a game where the last person to ever post in the thread wins. Seems simple enough, right? Not quite. As of writing, the current active last post wins thread, which is nearly 3 years old, has 9,821 as of writing pages. It will continue to grow even as this video is still being written, voiced, and edited. You'll normally find people posting in the thread, just sharing memes, posting little updates on their lives, sharing whips of their artwork, or even just putting page stalls in the thread. Free OBO. Free OBO stands for free or best offer, which means that a character someone has is free for someone to have unless someone makes an offer, either of art, another character, or just cold hard cash for the character that the artist likes. Sometimes artists will do this because they're a bit tentative on whether they want to give away a character they have for free, while other times artists will do this as a way to get engagement by having other people try to claim it for free until someone makes an offer. Perpetual site beta. If you ever looked at Toyhouse's main page while you're not logged in or don't have an account, you'll notice that it says that the site is still in invite beta. This is by no means a new thing. It's pretty much been that way from the start, and even now, 10 years later, the site is still in beta and constantly being developed. While the site still grows through people giving away invites being generated through having a premium account, it is still unclear if or when the site will ever exit its beta stage. Ban/block evasion. Ban/block evasion are pretty self-explanatory. It's where a person tries to evade someone by blocking them or being banned from a site by creating new accounts. At best, it's an annoying thing to deal with, and at worst, it can be potentially dangerous. Doing this on Toyhouse is against the rules and being taken pretty seriously by the admin, with ban evading in particular potentially resulting in a user's IP becoming banned from the site. Original species/species discussion. Original species are species created by someone, normally by combining various characteristics of animals, humanoids, and or objects together. Many original species have their own lore for the species as a whole, such as the world they live on, why they have the characteristics that they do, and or rules for creating a lore-accurate character of that species. Original species are either categorized as an open species where anyone is free to create a character of that species without limits, semi-open or semi-closed species where creating a character is free but some visual traits must be unlocked by either paying money for the traits or an adoptable with those traits, or participating in events. And there's closed species where creating a character is only allowed by either paying for an adoptable of that species, commissioning someone to make you a custom character of that species, or by buying and participating in events that earn you an MYO or make your own slot where you are free to make a custom character of that species. Toyhouse has a very large community of people who participate in making and moderating various original species, with many worlds being dedicated to hubs for cataloging these species and their lore and characteristics. This community is so large that the species discussion category exists for people to advertise their original species or do interest checks to see if people are interested in making characters based on someone's idea for an original species. CBCs/Deku Dogs. Character-based characters, also known as CBCs or Deku Dogs, are characters whose designs take many aspects from a specific character in a piece of media, with its second nickname being derived from a whole lot of people making dogs that shared a lot of visual attributes with the character. Deku from My Hero Academia. The term Deku Dog is also sometimes interchangeably used to refer to as a kinsona, characters that also have visual similarities to a canon character but are made for the specific purpose of kinning. CBCs caused a lot of debate amongst the Toyhouse community, mainly due to people either finding them lazy or more importantly due to the potential legal problems that could come from trading/selling characters of this nature. Eventually, this resulted in the admin amending Rule 5.1 to include redesigns or kinsonas of characters who share the same name, personality, and identity as canon character re-uploads. However, this rule change does come with a large note saying that characters that are visually inspired by canon characters but have their own identity separate from who they're inspired by are still allowed on site, though that they can't be sold or traded. Opinions on CBCs as a whole are very mixed across Toyhouse, with some finding them fun to make and others finding them lazy and derivative. It's probably for the better, and I'll bring it up in the forums. Resources. Resources on Toyhouse are mainly to help others on Toyhouse. They usually include art bases, examples for commissions, page decor, or references for things that can be objectively challenging to draw. They're also one of the main 4 category types that you could upload a character under that can be easily filtered in/out with search tool. Only one admin. You might have noticed that throughout this video, you've heard mentions of only the site admin on Toyhouse. That's because, like this part of the iceberg states, there's only one admin moderating and running Toyhouse, confirmed by the admin themselves in an announcement made in October of 2020. It seems that some of the special character users were also moderators very early on in the site's run, though all of them have long since stepped down. They are working on adding more moderators, however they admit they would rather stay understaffed than hire disruptive mods in this announcement they made on May 19th, 2026.
The Depths.
Huh?
Art RPGs. Art RPGs, also known as ARPGs, are role-playing games where playable characters gain levels or currency through the player making art or writing of them, normally based on a prompt given by the admins of the game. These also normally have a shop where players can buy items, and depending on what kind of ARPG it is, will sometimes incorporate traits and breeding/adoption mechanics in the game as well. ARPGs have a primary focus on collaborative storytelling through giving players prompts to complete and tell their characters' stories while using the lore of the world they're role-playing in. While these are not a unique thing to Toyhouse, many art RPGs thrive on here through its Worlds feature, and it's become one of the main hubs for art RPGs outside of Paper Demon and DeviantArt. Character Adopt Shelters. Character Adopt Shelters are accounts where users donate their unused characters for others to adopt and use. These shelters normally run on fake currency that users can gain by either donating their own unused characters or by drawing art for characters currently owned by their shelter. While an interesting concept, it has gained some criticism from users due to the question of whether or not artists should have to do art in order to gain non-existent currency, and also due to the potential for freebie flipping, which is where someone gets a character for free only to immediately trade it with someone else. Coders Quarters. Coders Quarters is a world on Toyhouse where people would create HTML and CSS codes for others to use on sites based on prompts given by the admins of the world. The world would run monthly coding prompts from July 2021 all the way up to December of 2024 before the founder of the group announced that they would be taking a hiatus in January 2024. While the monthly prompts are no longer being done, you can still look through and use many of the well-made and creative codes that are archived in the group's characters section. If you're ever feeling like sprucing up a character's profile page but don't feel like coding, try looking through here sometime. Fave to Enter raffles. Fave to Enter, also abbreviated to F to E, are character or art raffles where someone enters simply by favoriting the character. Normally these raffles would also have opportunities to get extra entries, such as by subscribing to a user, making bulletins, commenting, favoriting other characters, and so on and so forth. LQ, MQ, HQ art debate. This is a controversial topic on Toyhouse that involves discussing the quality of an artwork or adopt. Low quality is LQ, medium quality is MQ, and high quality being HQ. One side of this topic may say that extremely compressed images, sketches, or their understanding of art fundamentals like color theory, anatomy, technical skills, etc. may qualify an artwork or doc as being LQ. The other side of this topic may say that determining others' artwork quality can be seen as rude and overall art is subjective, so these labels are really unnecessary. But whatever side of this debate you may be on, you'll also see people in the marketplace forums labeling their art or designs they're selling as HQ to draw people in. Negative notifications bug. The negative notifications bug is a bug where receiving a notification update during a traffic spike will make a user's notifications display as a negative number. The bug first started appearing around July of 2023, with it temporarily going away when a user receives a notification. After the notification has been cleared, however, it seems that the alert will go back to -1. While rare, it is still possible to encounter the bug and can be a massive pain to deal with. As of now, it can only be fixed directly by sending a ticket to the admin to get them to fix it. FTU/P2U. FTU and P2U are terms used by users of Toyhouse that post resources for other artists to use. FTU means free to use, and P2U means pay to use, respectively. Most resources that are FTU/P2U are often bases or coding snippets, with pay to use items normally having a link offsite to buy the item in question.
The Abyss. Character hoarding debates. The topic of character hoarding is a controversial topic on Toyhouse. One side of this debate would say character hoarding is not a thing, making fun of those who don't dedicate 100% of their time to original characters, or poking at those with genuine illnesses, financial situations, or addictions. Some people want to collect a lot of characters and artwork in their free time. The other side of this debate would say character hoarding is a thing and complain about those who snag up any possible freebies and characters for sale and don't use their hundreds of thousands of characters at all. Some people may say this out of concern for character hoarding addictions affecting their mental state or financial situation, or they may say it out of pure jealousy that this person took their character that they wanted. Whether or not which side you're on, sometimes you'll find this topic on people's profile warnings, DNIs, and even in the forums possibly. Toyhouse drama. There's a lot of drama to be found on Toyhouse, whether it's in the service reviews, gossip blogs, or other websites. You'd be surprised that a niche storage site like this has so much beef in it. The Iceberg has tried to steer clear of being drama-centric for the most part, but trust us, Toyhouse is something else. DNI_if you exist. DNI_if you exist is a joke account made to satirize DNIs on Toyhouse by adding a metric of reasons for why you're not allowed to interact with them. We got your standard affairs like fandoms, but don't worry folks, for this new limited edition DNI list we got hobbies, food, animals, identities, even rickrolls. It's a trip to read. Too bad 1111116 pronounced Albin. Oops, probably can't. He's probably not allowed to interact. At one point, the creator of this account had a forum thread where people could submit various things to add onto the DNI list, though it seems to have either been privated or deleted as of now. The account is still around if you'd like to give the list a read though. Fave for Fave thread/Fave exchange. Fave for Fave threads on Toyhouse are threads in which they advertise a character that the poster would offer favorites in exchange for favoriting other users' characters. Favoriting is a feature on Toyhouse that boosts the popularity of a character or several characters. Another function of favoriting is to save a character you'd like to your profile for later viewing. Favoriting is often used on characters that are often put up for trade or sale, though some users on Toyhouse make non-character ads using the submit a character feature where they advertise their commissions, which can be favorited as if it were a character. Soggy Bread, the most favorited character on Toyhouse. A soggy bread that has 6,000 favorites. This water-soaked slice of a loaf has even been favorited by the admin themselves. The House. The House is a forum game where your character, specifically in character, would contribute to one big house. He has so many posts and some fan art, but it eventually had to get shut down due to some stock photo crediting issues and the fact that it got difficult to maintain updating the floor plan and the visuals of the house. The Grugpocalypse. In mid-2021, Toyhouse is taken over for a spell by an influx of Grugs. Tons of users would upload renders of the character Grug from the DreamWorks movie The Croods, edited into variants like Emo Grug, Smart Grug, Gamer Grug 64, Technoblade Grug, and many more. Some like Friday Night Funkin' Grug even had their own hand-drawn variants. Many of these characters had to be removed due to violating Rule 5.1, which prohibits canon characters from other media or AU versions from said characters from being uploaded to the site. Despite that, you still find a handful of grugs around today. This wouldn't be the last time some canon character resembling characters would be seen en masse on Toyhouse.
The Trench. First ever OC on Toyhouse. The first ever OC uploaded to the site was from the admin themselves, Pseudo. It's a feral dog named Firestarter who, as the name suggests, has fire powers. There's no extra information in their profile, but they've got a pretty sizable gallery at 75 art pieces and a boatload of comments, mostly talking about how they're the first ever character. First ever thread on Toyhouse. While any actual forum post with an ID of 1 seems to have vanished, there are still a few remaining contenders for the first ever thread on Toyhouse. The first is a test forum within a test world called Ten Gillen, simply titled Test, and dating back to October 6th of 2014. The second is a general forum thread for GMMD grams, or grammatical murder grams, which seem to be a closed species that could only be gifted to others via adoptables like a candygram. This thread was found in the World's forum, not to be confused with a forum in the world, and dates back to November 3rd of 2014. The third that predates the grams thread but came after the test world thread was an announcement dating back to October 15th of 2014. Goku Fart the Great. Wow. They'll have a Toyhouse account for anything. Set sail for the 7 Saids. This was a joke account with 3 separate iterations, all 3 of which featured Alex, a chronic pink-eyed Saiyan with 8 wives who love fishing, as the Sona of this account, and would spam post a Luffy recolor known only as Said. During the second iteration of the account, the creators would give away many of the Saids to users on the site who asked for them, and would even raffle off Said variants that had more complex additions to their Luffy base image. This caused a small community to form around Goku Fart and the Saids, and eventually culminating in the creation of a Discord server by the creators of the account. However, soon tragedy would strike, as Saids left and right would be deleted by the admin due to being spam. This would cause people to sort of creatureify their own Said variants in order to stand out from the regular ones. Despite the mishap with Saids being deleted and the Goku Fart accounts all being closed, the Said community still lives on through Discord to this day. Emoji Slop. Emoji Slop was a satire troll account that was known for putting emojis, memes, and a like on top of a furry base. They posted at least 50 adoptables in under an hour and got banned quickly after their debut. Mentioning characters. A small but interesting thing about Toyhouse is the fact that you can respond to forum posts and leave comments as a character uploads to Toyhouse by toggling a switch on the left side of the comment editor from out of character to in character. Most people know about this, however what a lot of people don't know is that you can actually mention characters like you would a regular user by typing 2 @ symbols and then pasting a character's number ID to the comment itself. Special icon users. If you've been around on Toyhouse long enough, then you'd know that every icon next to the site links come from a site called Font Awesome. This, of course, includes the icons next to usernames with a user icon for normal users and a star icon to denote a user with premium. However, certain older accounts from early on in the site's lifespan have special icons unique to their accounts. According to Pinky, one of the users with a special icon, they were given to beta testers of the site as a gift from the admin. Currently, there's no way to obtain these permanently, though CSS exists to change the icon's appearance on a user's profile. Favoriting literatures and settings. Favoriting literatures in Toyhouse works way differently compared to favoriting character profiles on Toyhouse. Instead of it showing up in your favorites, it shows up in a user's private settings, labeled as favorite literatures. Toyhouse origins. Toyhouse is a site created by Cyan Crows, a software studio ran by 2 people named Sai and Lulu, who were both involved with original character species and likely were inspired by ARPGs also, which tend to have a ton of art, info, and designs attributed to them. Makes sense why they make a site for the character archival. Toyhouse alternatives. Site-wise, places like Unveil, Artfight, and Character Hub serve similar purposes to Toyhouse, where one can directly upload characters, images, and information as storage. These tend to have a smaller user base compared to Toyhouse due to either not having certain features or just being more niche and having less overall interaction. When it comes to less site-focused alternatives, some people like to create pages on their own website dedicated to archiving information about their character. This comes with added security for the user since they don't have to worry about any potential site shutdowns, albeit at the cost of having to learn things like HTML and CSS. So, it's not too hard to do. Those less inclined to learn HTML and CSS could also use a personal Discord server or a Google Doc to archive things. Profile vandalism. As discussed before, Toyhouse is unique in its abilities for users to do things with HTML and inline CSS. The interesting thing about this, however, is that it's not just limited to character or user profiles, it can be used in comments as well. For the few that actually do this normally just means adding some extra pizzazz to a comment or forum reply. On very rare occasions, however, page dolls have been used to vandalize the comments section. The most notable case of this came after then popular artist and animator Lupus Vulpes, who was called out for many bouts of passive-aggressive homophobia and transphobia, unprofessionalism, and false advertising regarding commissions. While there don't seem to be any remaining screenshots of the vandalism itself, their profile's comments section became flooded with people using a page doll code snippet to insert various images normally related to gay and trans rights. Trans rights are human rights, or just general shit posts. Eventually, it reached a point where comments were shut off entirely.
I'm not gonna front, this is mostly a event from one of the script writers. While dates are unclear, sometime past 2020, Toyhouse became excluded from the Internet Archive. This means that any Toyhouse links cannot be saved to or accessed from the Wayback Machine in any way. While one alternative exists, that being Archive Today, this has still offered a strong bout of frustration. Not many people know of archival sites outside of the Internet Archive, with Archive Today still being relatively niche as an archival site. This has made it incredibly difficult to find many screenshots and evidence of older Toyhouse events outside of people's own recollection of events, because if it's not on Archive Today, then it's not gonna be anywhere. So, archive your stuff while you can. Preferably in multiple places if you can.